Alhamdulillah, it is very nice to have this week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone for coming to the pre-conference workshop. So this agenda is actually part of our ICoSI 2022. First of all, I would like to thank you for everyone, either from the participant of the ICoSI or from the UMY Grace. We cannot be able to celebrate, or we cannot be able to organize such a huge event without your participation. So I really, on behalf of the committee, I also would like to say uh, uh, our appreciation for everyone. Today we are going to have a pre-conference workshop. So there will be two speakers from UMBA. But before that, we are going to listen to the chairperson of ICoSI and UMBA Grace. So he is here with us, Mr. Bapak Zuhud Rozaki. The time is yours.
Thank you, Mas Jali. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, praise to Allah that led us to meet here to join the pre-conference workshop with the title Making Publishable Papers from Research Work. And then salawat and salam goes to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And here I would like to, first of all, thanks to great speaker that accepted our invitation to give a speech here. First is Professor Skamta. He is the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. And then the second speaker is Prof. Diah Mutiarin. She is the head of Research and Innovation Center of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. So both speakers will talk about quite different topic, because Professor Sukamta will talk about more how to make the research paper for the engineering topic. And then for Professor Diah Mutiarin will talk about the social and humaniora papers. So both speakers have excellent portfolio for their Scopus publication, also WOS publication. So I'm sure that all participants who join to this event today will not regret it, and then will get good valuable knowledge and practices about how to write a good scientific paper. And then here I little bit talk about our two big international conference. First is International Conference on Sustainable Innovation 2022. Maybe some of you are asking, what is the difference between ICoSI and some of local conference? So ICoSI is belong to Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. So we can call it the big conference of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. And then we collaborate. We collaborate to all unit in Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta to make a vocal conference. And this vocal conference in this year, we do have 13 vocal conference. There are ICONART, ICOSA, ICTAMI, and then ISCE, IE, and then ICERS, ICOL, ASEANCOL, ICOMS, ICAF, ICMHS, ICONERS, ICPU, and DREAM. So we do have 13 focal conference. So maybe some of you still wondering what is the relation between the focal conference and ICoSI. So I have already explained it. So your focal conference, so actually mainly participants belong to the focal conference. But ICoSI try to elaborate it, become one of big conference. And Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta already committed that every year will hold this conference routine. Yeah, so for next year and next year, so hopefully all the participants will join our yearly big conference. And then the second international conference that mainly focus for undergraduate student, so we call it Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta Undergraduate Conference, or we abbreviated become UMY Grace. So this conference focus on the undergraduate student, but the quality and then the services that we provide is not less from ICoSI. So hopefully from those who come from the education institution, you can contact us how to apply this UMY Grace, or maybe if you are late, you can participate in the next year. Okay, and then for the end of my opening speech, once again, I would like to thanks to speakers today, Professor Skanta and Professor Dia Mutiarin, and then for the all participants that already joined today's event. We hope that you continue your contribution until you publish your paper, because this ICoSI already collaborated with many Scopus index proceeding or Scopus index journal. So I hope that you, I'm sure, I will guarantee that you will not regret to participate until the end of stage, which is publish your full paper. Okay, see you again for our next agenda. We will contact you later, mainly for the conference, which is 20 and 21 July 2022. That's all. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zul Razaki, as the chairperson of the ICoSI and UMY Grace 2022. And now we're going to move on to the our event, the main event, which is the pre-workshop. But before that, I would like to remind you that this event will have some door prize for the first 5 questions. So we encourage the participants here to give their best question, and we will give 5 door prize for the 5 first questions. And in addition to that, we will also give all of you the certificate of participation. So it is required for everyone to submit their attendance. So our team has sent in the chat section the link to the attendance. So we hope that everyone can submit the attendance with their full name or the name that is going to be written in the certificate. Yeah, and so now let's begin the introduction to our honored keynote speaker. But before that, I was supposed to give you some prologues about research and also publication. So when I was in my master's study, I remember my professor, which is actually a researcher. He told me like this: if you are a good teacher, only your students will know you. But if you are a good researcher, the whole world will know you. The extent of knowing us, the researcher, is not only just known by the name, they can benefit from what we have done. So imagine that research in Indonesia, or let's say research that is done in Germany, in Brazil, or in Australia, or in Africa, we can refer to them. So vice versa, research that is done in our country, in our context, can also benefit the people in the world, the other researcher in the world. So this is why if we have a research, it is very the best way to, or the best first way to make the research is advantageous is by publishing them. So this is why in this occasion we will invite the honorable two speakers for sharing their ideas how to publish the research paper, how to make a publishable papers from the research work. So the first one over here, we have Professor Dr. Muhammad, Professor Dr. Sukamta. He is actually the lecturer. He is actually a lecturer at the Faculty of Engineering in Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. He has achieved the title of Guru Besar or Professor, and he now, for the second terms, holds the position as the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs. And his research expertise his research expertise is in project management and also two-phase flow. During the past 5 till 10 years, he has joined at least 13 publication and also some 20 research project funded, a funded research project. So and with the second speaker that we will have today is Ibu Professor Dr. Diah Mutiarin. She is actually a lecturer at the Faculty of Social and Politics at UMJ, and she also achieved the title of Guru Besar, and she now heading the Institute of Research and Innovation of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, while her research expertise include governance, public governance, and university governance. And during the last 10 years, she has produced a lot of publication as well as becoming keynote speaker for many international conference. So without further ado, let's begin our first session, our workshop with Professor Dr. Sukamta. Professor, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. And I promise you will allow me to share screen.
Sure.
You need to make Professor Sukamta become co-host, Mas.
Yes. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Praise Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Greeting and salawat to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I'm pleased to present the topic making publishable papers from research work. My name is Sukamta, and like a moderator tell about us, I'm Vice Rector for Academic Affairs in Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, and now we have responsible to ensure that the ICoSI will be run well. So today I received the challenge to present a short presentation about making good paper or good article. Ladies and gentlemen, this material is prepared by my friends, Marfan Effendi. He is a lecturer from Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, and I complete it by several materials, and now I will present to you. This is the description about the good research. Good research will be show a good sequence, process, and methodology, resulting in sufficient and accurate data. Therefore, this make is it easier to prepare publication, and it is easy to create data tables, graphs, comparison reference. If we have a good display this, so it is also easy to write code determining the title, abstract, methodology, result, and also discussion, and also the conclusion. Yeah, we will tune this if we have a good research. So if we have a good research, will make us too easy to make a preparation to write the article. So we need the we need to recognize in the class of ranking of the journal. If we have good data, accurate data, we will make a good preparation. If we have a good preparation, so we will have a good writing, and we very easy to make a title, make an abstract, make an introduction, and make how to implement the research flow, so we can easy to write the materials and equipment. So after that, we can easy also to write the result and discussion. So finally, we can write conclusion is very clear. So we will have many benefit, yeah, if we have a good vision. So if we have a good article, yeah, you can see in the picture. If we have a good article, this writing article is good, so we can submit our article to many journal, high quality journal or middle quality journal. So if we have article published in high quality journal, we have more outcome, more citation, many friends, yeah, many our friends can cite our article, and etc. So the impact of our article is very high. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have to know and we have to learn about the classification of journal before writing the article. We need to recognize the class or ranking of the journal. There are two groups of indexer that are used as benchmarks to classify the quality of journal, namely Web of Science and Scopus. Many people classify the journal indexed by Web of Science, especially SGI or SSGI or each, yeah, Arch and Humidity Science Index is high quality journal or high profile journal. And article published in Scopus journal or indexed by Scopus, many people classify in the middle profile journal. If we have an article published in journal indexed by Google Scholar, many people classify to low profile journal. like this picture. Okay, and the next consideration, if we will publish our article in international journal, we have to consider about the journal evaluation process. There are several journal level classification in Web of Science, namely SG AE. You can see this slide. Science Citizen Index Expanded, or SCIE. Okay, and also Social Science Citizen Index, or SSCI, and Arts and Humanities Citizen Index. Three of type is high profile journal. And the next type of Web of Science collection is Emerging Source Citizen Index, and also Books Citizen Index, and also Conference Proceeding Citizen Index. Journal evaluation have 24 quality criteria to select for editorial rigor and publishing best practice, and 4 impact criteria to select for the most impactful journal. So the completed criteria, we have 28 selection criteria in total. We can see in this slide, ladies and gentlemen, 24 criteria to select the quality about the initial trace, editorial trace, and editorial evaluation. So the total number of criteria is 24. And the next criteria is impact criteria. There are 4 impact criteria. For SCIE, SSCI, and AHCI, they have 20 each criteria. And Emerging Sources Citizen Index, they just have 24 criteria. So it is a difference between Science Citizen Index Expanded, Social Science Citizen Index, Art and Humanities Citizen Index, and Emerging Source Citizen Index. This is different here. Okay. Yeah, we can look at this slide. There are 28 selection criteria in total, and this is 24 quality criteria to select for editorial record and publishing best practice, and this impact criteria to select for the most impactful journal. We can see Science Citizen Index Expanded, and Social Science Citizen Index, and Art and Humanities Citizen Index. 3 of this criteria complete or fulfill the 28 criteria. Yeah, you can look at presentation. Initial 3 years, editorial 3 years, editorial evaluation 2 years, and editorial evaluation impact. Yeah. The total of selection criteria is fulfilled by this index. So this journal, if indexed by Science Citizen Index Expanded, or Social Science Citizen Index, or Art and Humanities Citizen Index, is good. So they classify a high profile journal. But if the article published in journal and indexed by emerging citizen index, they are not have four criteria, namely impact criteria. So they just have 24 criteria are fulfilled. So this is different between SCIA, SSIE, H, EHCE, and ESCE. Okay, yeah, okay, but the Web of Science always re-evaluate for journal that display high citation performance, and they always monitor the citation performance for all journal indexed by ESCI, and perform re-evaluation when indicator so that the impact criteria may be met, and also about the stability of publication story and citation activity are also taken into the consideration in re-evaluation. And in common journal that map to Q1 or Q2 of the relevant category prioritized for re-evaluation. This picture shows us about how to estimate journal impact factor and related to the quartile Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, if we publish our article in international journal, we have to see about the quartile, about the ratio between number of article publication compared with the total paper submission. Okay, and we can see like this: Q1 17 compared with 336 in 2020. The meaning is the total paper submission is 336, and from the total paper submission, it just received to publication to publish about 17. Okay, so the ratio is very high. And H index, H index. Each index is defined as the maximum value of each such that the given author or journal has published at least each paper that have each been cited at least each time. The index designed to improve upon similar measures, such as the total number of citation or publication. For example, each index is based on a list of your publication ranked in a descending order by the time site count. The value of each is equal to the number of paper in the list that have n or more citizens. Okay, for example, its index this journal is 144 in 2019. SJR, SJR, Simago journal rank. Yeah, I think almost same. The Simago journal ranks refer to database of Scopus. Okay, and the SGR also show the quality, low, middle, or high quality. but the data in Shimoku journal rank very lacking, yeah, depending or compare with the data in Scopus. EF, impact factor released by Web of Science, and the complete name is journal impact factor. If we have the article published in journal indexed by Web of Science, we can see the journal impact factor. The impact factor also show the quality of the journal. Okay, as NIP, SNIP is a source normalized impact per paper. Is a field normalized assessment of journal impact. SNIP scores on the ratio of the source average citizen count and citizen potential. Citizen potential is measured as the number of citizens that the journal would be expected to receive for its subject field. Okay, and below description almost same with the above description, but a different article and different journal. Okay, this is also okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the problem is why was our manuscript rejected by the editor? Many problem, or there are several problem that the editor refuse or reject our manuscript. For example, once about the originality or novelty. Ladies and gentlemen, the authenticity of the research is needed as evidence so that there is no plagiarism between the previous research and the research conducted. The authenticity of the research is needed also as evidence so the so that there is no plagiarism between previous research and the research conducted. So we can claim that our work, this is our research work. So there are nobody can complain to us. Okay, and the novelty is state of the art. This is very important in the article we will publish to the international journal. So it is important how to learn and how to write a clear, concise sentence that retain our formal tone. Okay, yeah, this is the second problem. Okay. When translating formal document such as contract and clinical trial document, you may be asked to use academic writing. This requires making nominalization by into noun phrases. Okay, we can see this example. For example, the analysis of the data of the patient was completed before the publication of the trial, and we can rewrite by the patient's data was analyzed before the trial was published. So very clear and very concise sentence. Okay, the on the problem like interesting to journal leadership. If we make the sentence clear and concise English, so many readers will interest to read our article or our topic. And this article will be a high quality paper. So will so many people, many reader will cite our article. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So why our article rejected by the editor? Maybe the the main problem is out of scope or out of current interest. This very this is very common. Why the editor reject our paper, because the topic on the content on the result in discussion of our paper is out of scope or is out of current interest. Okay, so it is important also uh, how to convince, how to ensure that this content of our article is included, is part of the scope of the journal. Okay, and the second problem is no scientific contribution or nothing novelty, and also the methodology may be invalid experiment, invalid methodology, and not clear sentence in methodology. So uh, improve the quality of the methodology. And also the problem is poor English. Yeah, because English is not our mother language, so it's very common. People from Asia, including us from Indonesia, we can write good English. Yeah, we cannot write the sentence clear and concise like a native. But this skill we can learn, we can practice, and we can exercise whatever. Okay, the other problem is also unclear the table, the figure or prep. Many journal have requirement about the figure, table, and prep is very clear. So if we have figures, a table, a graph is not clear, the reviewers on the editor, yeah, exactly, yeah, will reject our paper. And the problem also, because we have the data is not relevant with our reference, or our reference will not relevant with our content in our paper. Yeah, so many problem actually why the editor or reviewer reject our article. But six problem I think is enough. Yeah, how to make our article is better. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is logically linking your audience. How to answer the 4 key questions for your readers. Start from introduction topic. Currently published studies, problem in the field, objective, methodology, research and figure, a summary of findings, interpretation of findings, and also the implication of the field is very important to write in our article, so the readers can read clear also. Okay, and the under consideration, if we will write the article, we have follow, or we have see the guidelines. Check the journal guidelines. For example, HGE journal maybe not the same for all journal, even in the same field. Like for the title peaks, abstract, introduction, method, result in discussion, conclusion, figure, table, reference, and etc. Sometimes they have requirement how many peaks and how many words. So we have to fulfill the requirement. Okay, and also for the title, how many words we have to write the title. Okay, so ensure our title give a description of what is done. The title ensure the title short and unambiguous, and also the title ensure the title use descriptive word describing what they are, and also the title can be written early, but this is often modified once the final form the paper clearly long. Many journal, but not all, we have to write the names author directly in the first page, and also affiliation. But sometimes in the under journal, names and affiliation, it put it in the last page, or below part of the page. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have to consider also about the keyword and abstracts. Okay, keyword is summary of the entire people and entire paper. I mean, brief description is keyword. So we have choose the word that we will put to be keyword is clear, and so the brief of description about the content of the paper. So although in short word, it is described what has been done. So introduction, so introduce the content of the main content article. Okay, and also the abstract. Abstract is a conclusion, short conclusion about the content of the paper. So this common if the total word for the abstract is not more, yeah, around 200 to 150 or 300 word. Maybe pay attention to the limit according to the targeted journal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next problem about is about the introduction. In the introduction, has to motivate and recall the reader. So the reader have interested to read the paper. It is very important. So it is very clear how to motivate a reader to read this background on this introduction. So in this introduction, it is very good if can explain very clearly about what we did and about what we'll report. So how to write the concise and clear sentence, yeah, clear sentence, what we did and what will we report. What will we report is very important, and the key is the key of good or not our introduction. Okay, and the next consideration on the next thing we can see about the problem about the problem of our people, namely background, aim, proposed method, result, and key findings for the abstract. The good abstract, if we can show or we can write a clear and concise sentence about the background, about the aim, about the method or methodology, about the result and key finding, and also the conclusion or implication or impact of our result and discussion. So a reader can capture, reader can know about the main content of our paper completed just from the abstracts. If they read our abstracts, they can have more information about our research, about our paper. It is a good abstract. So we can, consider if we will make our abstract. And sure, there is good background, there is good aims, there is good method, there is result and key findings, and also the conclusion, and also the implication or impact. Okay, so now why does your study need to be done?
Excuse me, Mister. I'm sorry. I think you may have another 5 minutes to talk, because we need to move on to another presenter.
Yeah. Okay. 5 minutes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we will show you about example. Example about the good paper maybe, and we will discuss after this. Okay, and I will jump to the next slide, and I show you partially about the slides. Okay, the next problem is how to write the result in discussion clearly and concise sentence. It is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Like how to provide the graph or figure or table mostly clearly. Okay, and I show you about the comparison about the poor and better, like this slide, ladies and gentlemen. For figure, the left side is poor. It is not recommended to publish. Okay, and we will make better the figure, like the right sides. Yeah. Okay, we don't need the line, vertical line, horizontal line. So we will make a clear figure like right side. Okay, and also this example, ladies and gentlemen, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Yeah, it is not recommended, this figure and also this figure. Yeah, sorry, and also the figure. Yeah, we can change how to make the graph or how to make the figure. Yeah, the left side move to the right side. So yeah, we can see in the figure, there is very more line, horizontal line and vertical line. So we can make more wide, horizontal and vertical line. So if we can move without line, is better. Okay, for example, this figure. Okay, and also like this figure, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, this left side is very crowded, and it is not recommended to publish an article, and we can change into the right figure. Okay, and it is a more clear, yeah, it is more clear figure, and also this figure, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the left side, it is not recommended because it is not efficient, and they have two figure, yeah, they have two figure, so this is not recommended because it is not efficient, and we will make merger, yeah, we will merge two figure into one figure, so we can see the right side. Okay, and also this example, ladies and gentlemen, it is not recommended because it is available picture is not needed. Okay, so we can move, we can change, and like this. Okay, and also this figure, ladies and gentlemen, it is not common, it is not explanation, yeah, so we need to explain about this picture, about this problem, or about this yeah, something. So it is recommended like right side. Okay, okay, and also this example, ladies and gentlemen, it is not recommended we make like this figure, yeah, because we do not know about the comparison about the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, it is I think the right side is more clear than left figure. Okay, and table, ladies and gentlemen, we do not need horizontal, no, we do not vertical line for the table. Okay, so we can remove all of vertical lines in the table, so we can have, yeah, we will have the table like below. Okay, so we just have the horizontal lines. We have a no vertical lines. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is our presentation, and I will close our presentation by the statement. The goal is not only to get published, but also to be widely read and cited in your field. Okay, thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Sukamta. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving on to the next keynote speaker, which is Ibu Diah Mutiarin. But before that, I would like to remind you that we have attendance list over here, and we will give you each of you the certificate of participation of this pre-workshop after the session is done. So now, without further ado, let's invite the second speaker, Ibu Profesor Diah Mutiarin.
Yes, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
The time is yours, ya, Ibu.
Okay, thank you, Mas Jali. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and good afternoon to everybody who has already joined in this workshop. First of all, I would like to say thank you to ICoSI committee that already invited me to be the keynote speaker of this workshop. And it is my honor to share with you about the topic on how to write publishable papers from research works. I think this is a very good theme because now we are going to have a big conference, particularly for UMY, who will organize the ICoNPO with all 13 vocals and also with the UMY Grace. So to all the participants here, allow me to share with you what I have been writing for sharing with you about how to write a good article. Mas Ali, would you share the materials? Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, it is clear. Thank you, Mas. We already listened to Prof. Kamta about the papers, how to write articles, and also about the indexing and why the paper have been rejected, for example, and what we have to do to make it publishable. For me, I will more focus my materials on how to prepare research work to be a good article. So actually, if we are thinking about the kind of publication, we can differentiate into article paper, into a journal, or we want to publish an article paper into proceeding. But generally, it has the rules that have been set by the committee or by the editors, how it can be valuing to be a standard paper, particularly if we write for international journal. So for example, if we want to write for the journal, for example, we want to write for the Scopus journal, and it is in a Q1 or Q2 or Q3, we have to follow the rules that already provide in the website of the journal. But I want you to really understand how we really write a good article from the research. If you are doing a research, I mean that it is an empirical research. It means that the research is based on observation. We do the research ourselves, and it has a measurement of a certain phenomena. For example, for social science, if you want to measure does the policy really address is the policy really address the for example, the COVID pandemic, for example. So we have to understand that this is our directly experience with the theme of the research. So we really do the policy on COVID for COVID recovery or something like that. So it means that the data should be gathered against the theory or the hypothesis that we concept about the COVID recovery or pandemic recovery. So the data that we gather is all the primary data. So although we also can work from the secondary data. So make sure that our research is really an empirical research. And the important things, the second to be considered is the research question. The research question, if we want to look it further, the research question is the starting point of our research. So that's why the research question should be formulated or should be a formulation of the issue, which is the heart of the research itself. So, for example, if we research on policy on COVID recovery or COVID pandemic recovery, so we have to make a research question which is really have the really has the depth of the research itself. So because if we start with a general research question, the editor would not be interested to your paper. So a research question can be formulated into a specific words. For example, you may you better formulated the research question not in a broad sentences or also not too so narrow. And for the research questions, we can make it explicitly. For example, in one research, we can have 1 or 2 or 3 research question, and it is explicitly. We mention it as the research question, but it is also can be implicit. So it can be implicitly for the research question. And it also can be as a proposition. So why research question is very important on your research? Of course, if we do the research, we will researching that something actual for the time being, for the current years, for example. And we also will research the certain issue that that's showing our expertise. So we have to make it explicitly, or it is also can be implicitly, but it is also can be a proposition. And for the research question, it will guide you to it will guide you to a certain theory. Also, it will guide you to a certain methods that needed for the research itself. And also, if the editor read your paper from the abstract and you have a clear research question, then he or she might be interested to your paper. So that's why we really need to start research with a good research question. And if we do a research paper, then we want to make it into an article. We have to make sure that our research question is showing the purpose of the paper. So a good article should fulfill the indicators of purpose of the article is clear, starting from the research question, has a good design or methodology or approach, and also showing the findings, showing also the research limitation and implication. And it is also need to state the practical implication as well as social implication. And after all, if we write a good paper, the paper should have the originality or the novelty, or we also can say it as the value of the paper. So if we after we clear with the research question, then we need to have a good theoretical framework. We know that theoretical framework is the theoretical framework usually not divorced from the empirical research. Or in other ways, we can say that empirical research is not apart from theoretical consideration. Sometimes we just write the theoretical frameworks that sometimes it is not relevant to our research. But if we use the theory that the theory is is updated, then the editor will also be interested to read more on your paper. So that's why if we write a theoretical framework, it should show the link between the research question and between the theory that you are using. For example, I want to show you an example of the paper. Maybe in our paper report, we have 100,000 pages, but we need to make it concise into a paper. Sometimes the editor only asks to write 7,000 words into 8,000 words. So how to make them interested to us? I will show you an example of the paper that has been written from a research paper. Mazali, would you give me access that
Actually, I have given the access to everyone, so it is possible
Okay.
for you to share.
Thank you, Mas. Yeah, thank you. Um, Everybody, I would like to show you how we write a paper from a research work that really concise. Let me show you. This is the example. Um, okay. So this is the example on a research paper. This paper was written when in Indonesia the Gojek, you know that in Indonesia Gojek and Grab at that time very popular, and it was started on 2019 at that time. And the researcher trying to write about how the policy and how the government regulation respond to the growing online enabled transportation such as Gojek and also Grab. But this is a comparison between Indonesia, Philippines, and Taiwan. So by reading the title, the editor will value is it important or not, the title, because the editor first will read directly to the title. Is there as many study on the transportation online, or but what is the difference? For example, the writers take the position on the government regulation and policies. So this is not about the economics, not about the IT, but this is about the government and policies. And for example, this is under the emerald. So in the emerald, we have to write the abstract in a very clear sentences. For example, we just write the first sentences. This paper aims to explore the dynamic context of the sharing economy in the transportation sector. So this is very clear, not too broad, but this is also not too narrow, because we still starting with the sharing economy, particularly in the transportation sector. If the editor read the first sentence and they are interested, they will continue to read the other section of the abstract. And then second, about the design. The design, we use the mixed method. This is the qualitative comparative research. And it is gathered from reputable online sources. So actually, it also has the secondary data. It combines the primary data from the field and also from the secondary data. And then what are the findings? What are the importance? If there are many research on the same theme on the online enabled transportation service, but what is the distinctive of this paper to the others that have been published? So the difference, it clearly stated that the authors found evidence. So what are the evidence? The evidence is the policy responses. that made by the governments. To the sharing economy, there are also another key concept on sharing economy. That this is also the findings that the transportation sector, whether it is in Indonesia, in Philippines, and in Taiwan, the policy going in an incremental and trial error policy. So after we mention that this is incremental and trial and error, so they want to know what happened with Indonesia, what happened in Taiwan, and what happened in Philippines. But we also have to state that what are the research limitation. So this is the limitation, which things that have not covered by this paper, and it needs to be follow up by other researchers. And we need also to mention what are the research limitation and what are the practical implication. The important things also to be considered is the originality or value. What are the value? The value is in economic, particularly in the middle income and high income country. Because Indonesia, Taiwan is an high income country, and Indonesia is in middle income country. So all the keywords showing the variables that has been researched in this paper. So this is how we really have to write a concise abstract, because if the editor wrote the whole paper, maybe it will time consuming. But to make a decision whether the title will go on to the review process or not, the first sortir is on abstract. How they will write the abstract. Okay, Mas Dali, back to the PPT, Mas.
Here you go.
Okay, Mas, I will continue my explanation. I still have time, Mas.
Yes, you have around 10 minutes.
Okay, Mas. I will continue my explanation. So after the research question is clear, because you already have the materials in your research report, so you have to consider what is your study. I mean the type of your research. Whether your type of your research is exploratory research or maybe a descriptive research. So you have to really aware on the type of your research. And again, for the methods, that the methods that we are using have to be a systematic and orderly approach, yeah, taken from the methods that have been introduced by the previous expertise. So in the research methods, we will explain to the audience or the reader what kind of techniques that we are using, what is the particular steps or the particular procedures that we are using in our paper. So the research methods can be maybe it is an experiment, usually for the health science maybe, but experiment also can be applied into social science and survey, case study, grounded research, ethnographic, and observation or action research. Okay. And if we do our research, so we have to know what I mean the length of the time. I mean the period. Oh, mas before the journal, mas. Yeah.
Actually, this is the one that you share to me, the file. So
Yeah,
for the
mas.
journal, this one is the.
Yeah, mas. Go up, mas. Up, mas. Before.
So actually, this is
before.
it.
Yeah, this one. If we do our research, we have to really clear with our duration of our research. So what is the time period of our research took place? For example, the research took place on 2 years ago, or maybe this current years, or maybe a year ago. So we have to also have to explain to the readers that why we research in a certain year. So we have to really we have to explain why we do the research on this year, on the particular year. What is the reason? And in our research, we also have to ensure that our data is accurate, our data is a real data, that our data is valid, our data is reliable, and our data can be generalized even for a certain scope. So if we do the research, we have to write about the validity, the reliability of our data. And for the research itself, we for the research, we have to choose whether we are in a positivism approach, or we are in empiricism approach, or we use the interpretative approach. And in the design of the research, we have to state it clearly. What is the sample of our research? Because if the sample is not accurate or we cannot show the audience that this is our real data. Sometimes the readers also confused with our research, with the result of our research. Is it manipulated, being manipulated, or is it a real data? So make sure that our data is the accurate data, valid, and also reliable. And for a paper, usually the structure of the paper starting with abstract, as you can see in the slide in the monitor. The paper will start with the abstract, introduction, literature review, research methods, findings, discussion, conclusion, and references. For introduction, some of the journal use the section to explain about the literature review, and also the research question also in the literature review. The question in the introduction, but some of the paper also spirit the introduction, literature review, and also the research framework. If we can show the research framework, it will help the reviewer to easily understand our paper. Mas Ali, I will share my screen. This is the example of research framework. So it means that in the literature review and the theoretical framework, and after that, sometimes we have to to show to the readers that we have our clear research framework. The reviewer, when they check our paper, they will find the interesting part of our paper. The interesting part from the reviewer perspective is the title, abstract, and then the important point of literature review is there, if they are updated or not, and then the research framework. The research framework, for example, in my paper, I show to the reviewer that we have the clear research framework, starting with the variables, the durability, enforcement, form, and timing. This is the important variables, and also protection and participation. And all the research framework should be relevant with all the literature review that we already mentioned in this paper. This is the research method. So the figure and table will help the reviewer to understand our paper, because the researcher do not talk to the reviewer, do not talk to the editors. It means that the paper talks. So we have to make it very clear, make it simple, understandable, but has a strong, important findings for the current years. So I think this all from my explanation. Last but not least, I also want to show you that I use many table and also figure in this paper. Use the referencing management with the Mendeley, and also in the discussion I refer back to the research framework that I have used in this paper. And for the limitation, I also stated the limitation here. What are the limitation? And for the references, uh, we use more than 40 references, and all the references are up to date, and using also the reference management here. Thank you. That's all from me. I hope my explanation will help the audience to start your paper. After the abstract, then will be the paper, and all of you can write a good paper, a qualified paper for the journal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Professor Diah Mutiarin, and also thank you for the first keynote speaker, Professor Sukamta. What I can learn from what I have taken note from both of you is that first, we need to always consult our paper to our peers, to our colleague, whether it is easily read or not. So like what I have learned from Mr. Sukamta, how figures and table looks are very important. If it is eye-catching and if it is simple, so it will be better. And also from Ibu Professor Diah Mutiarin, what I learned is that we have to find something interesting in our research. We have to find something that makes the reviewer interested to our research. So, ladies and gentlemen, so now we begin our question and answer section. So I will invite 5 questions actually. So everyone who are going to have some questions, so you may raise your hand, and I will unmute yourself. So if any question, please raise your hand. I mean, you can raise your hand in this chat, right?
Yeah, there are several questions in the chat.
Okay, so I have read from the first. Okay, from first is from Bapak Syahrul Ramdhani. Bapak Syahrul Ramdhani, would you like to directly say out your question, or let me say it to you? Okay, because actually for making this more interactive, we ask everyone to just speak out, but it is okay. So the first question from Bapak Syahrul Ramadhani is to both Professor Sukamta and Professor Diah, how to create novelty on common research. So if there are already papers or articles talk about certain topics, so how do we create novelty? So maybe Prof. Diah or Prof. Kamta, would you like to help us?
Okay. Thank you for the question. First, how to create the novelty. Actually, there are several measures to assess the quality of scientific work as follows, especially novelty, meaning that the field studied is very new and relevant to the needs of society. A novelty or elements of the novelty of research are very important as a benchmark for scientific work. The logic is simple, and new thing usually attract people's attention to be studied and studied more deeply. Science is developing so rapidly that it requires people always to want to know the latest development in every field, I mean, in every field of science. The problem is, yeah, for you, for us, and for many people, how a researcher knows that his study materials is new. This can be done by conducting studies of previous research or studies that have been published through journal, scientific books, or magazine, or via the internet, with expert called the state of the art. Talking about the elements of research novelty, there are several types of elements of the novelty of research writing scientific paper, including type number one novelty is invention. From the name of the type alone, it is discovered that our scientific or research writings must be like finding something in the sense of changing and the basic principle that have existed before, or practices or habit that are the basis. Type number two is improvement. The second type is also almost the same as type one, except that its nature can be in the form of the improvement from the previous principle or an improvement from a pre-existing theory or practice. Second, three, or the third type of novelty is refutation. For this type, the person must have comprehensive insight to produce a new basic principle of the novelty element of research. Okay, so how to train ourselves to be good in filling the gap in research? Actually, some criteria that may be used to assess an element of research novelty include one, present a number of new information when the researcher was the first to do so. Or second, expand quality or elaborate on the number of pre-existing activities. Or also doing some of the original work that someone else designed, or develop new product to improve things. Okay, or reinterpreting a theory, maybe in a different context. Also, yeah, it's okay. Or demonstrate it originally by testing one's ideas, or doing empirical work that has never been done before, or using different methodological approach to solve the problem. Okay, or how to synthesize new information in different ways. And yeah, I think many ways how to make novelty. Okay, including for example, provide a new interpretation using previously existing information, repeating the research in another context, namely, yeah, for example, a different country, a different place, or different geometry, or different times, etc. Okay, for next example, maybe how to implement existing ideas in the new area. Yeah, we can check the novelty. Okay, or take a certain technique and apply it in a new area, or developing new agriculture tools or techniques, or take a different approach, or develop a portfolio of work based on research, for example, or increase knowledge in a way that has never been done before. Okay. Yeah, I think many ways how to create the novelty, but how to increase our yeah our filling the gap. Yeah, I think yeah, I think we need to improve our yeah our flying hours of writing article maybe. Okay, thank you, Mr. Yali.
Thank you very much for answering the question. So is there any response from Ibu Diah Mutiarin regarding to the question how to create novelty? Yeah, and then after this, Ibu Nasrawati, you may raise your question after Professor Diah answer. Okay, go on.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Zali. I will add some information from what has been explained by Prof. Kamsa. From the years of my experience as researchers, I concluded the novelty of our research, starting with the first mapping the previous study. What are the previous study have been result from the certain area? But to mapping the previous works of the other researchers is not a simple. It's not a simple things. And I also admitted that this is not easy, as the theory said. But usually, I do a previous study mapping in the same character. The same character, for example, I want to do a research, for example, on sharing economic, as what I have took as an example. The character should be, for example, the similarity of the previous study. For example, the character is the same development country, or the same economic growth, or maybe the similar with the geographical era, or the similar with the history of the things that we are going to research. So the novelty also will be guided from our research question. If our research question too general or too broad, it will not address a new novelty. from our research. So for me, usually I will not think it complex, too complex, but I will make a narrow, or I mean like a specific question that have never been raised or never been researched by other researchers. So this is the first step. And the second step, I usually update myself with the current research, from the reputable journal, because by scamming the title in Scopus, for example, if we searching from the document, and we can analyze from the document itself how many people, how many papers already written about the, for example, about the strategic management, for example. There are already too many. Usually, I will take the subject that has not many papers in it. So this is the second way that I usually use. And the third one, usually I research by discussing the topic that I'm going to research or topic that I'm going to write with the subject of my research. But sometimes not many researchers are willing to do that, because, for example, if I want to research about the digital government, so usually I will contact someone that I know about the digital government in the bureaucracy. After I make a discussion for around 10 minutes with him or with her, then they will give many information that maybe it is not on the website, on their website. Sometimes they have the credential information, but sometimes it is not openly publicly in their website. So usually I do these three ways. But if we talk about the novelty can be from the theory. The novelty can be the development of the methods, the development of the theory, the development of the methods, and also the practical implications. Usually, the researchers will propose a model or a new model from the previous model that has been existed. But we will add some variables on the model, so it becomes a new model. I remember that I ever been an external examiners for thesis that searching about the relation between Trihita Karana, this is in Bali, with the local wisdom in tourism. Sometimes the researchers, the other researchers only research about the Trihita Karana or about the tourism itself, but these researchers trying to relates between to linking between Trihitakarana, their belief, because they are Hindus, and the local wisdom in tourism. The tourism itself, particularly in cultural tourism. So that's one another example of the novelty. Thank you. I hope this is also answered the question. Thank you, Mas Dali.
Thank you, Ibu. And now we will invite the question. It is from Ibu Nasrawati. Ibu Nasrawati, that you may ask your question directly to the speaker. Is it possible for you to open the microphone? Okay, now I think you should be able to open your microphone.
Bismillah, Assalamualaikum. Introduce me on behalf of Nasrawati from Madrasah Ibtidaya Teacher Education, Yai Muhammadiyah Sinjai. Permission to ask question to the speaker one, namely, how to create a unique journal in accordance with the rules of writing scientific papers in order to be accepted and published. Please give tips and tricks, especially for use beginner writers. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Ibu Nasrawati from Pendidikan Guru Madrasah Ibtidaiyah ya, Muhammadiyah Sinjai. So the question is how to create a unique journal. So how to be in line, how to be in accordance with the rules of writing the scientific papers. And she asked the tips and also tricks. Please, the time for you, Mr. Professor Sukamta.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yali. It should be clear. You will create the unique journal or unique article because it's a difference. Okay. Yeah. If we read the continuing sentence, I means who Nasrawati will create article unique, unique article, not unique journal, maybe. But okay, I will give a description or explanation about both of unique journal or unique article. Okay, and if we will create the unique article, so will be published in international journal for high level profile or high level class in the international journal indexed by Web of Science or indexed by Scopus. I have explained it in the slide number 9 and also number 10. So we have focus on our article. There are available originality and novelty. The sentence clear and concise. Okay, and so the comprehensive sentence will invite the reader to read. Okay, so the sentence, interesting sentence is very important. Yeah, so the reader will assess, will have view, open view, opinion, opinion this article is good, or this article is high quality article, high quality article, or high quality research. Yeah. Okay. So ensure your article it is it is part of scopes. Means your content or your article is one or part of the scope of journal. Okay. Or it is not out of current interest. It is important. It's very important. Many article rejected cause this problem. Okay. And the second important thing is you have to give the scientific contribution, okay, or novelty. Okay. One, scope. Number two, or the second thing is contribution. You have to give the scientific contribution. Okay. And ensure the methodology on the experiment is valid. The experiment we done is valid. Okay. And also please do not use unclear figure, unclear table, and unclear graph. Do not do. Okay. And ensure also the English, yeah, the English, our English is not too poor. Okay, so we can learn to others, yeah, we can learn to our friend, and we can use the proofreader to check our article. Okay, yeah. If you mean is how to create the unique journal, yeah, I think many consideration, yeah, we can explain you if you need. Okay, for the beginner, yeah, there are tips for the beginner to create the article. Yeah, I'm the beginner also. Yeah, yeah, because I just have around 13 document in a database of Scopus. Yeah, not including in Web of Science. Tips for the beginner ones is please you do the scientific picnic. You know, you can read more and more article, and you please make a target, one article for 1 week or 2 article for 1 week you read. Okay, and a lot of practice writing. Keep improving the flying hours of writing articles. Try and try to write article. Okay, and don't be afraid to make a mistake for writing article. Okay, and that's a tip. Choose article with a low. Choose the journal. I mean, choose the journal or publisher with a low ratio of published paper with submission paper. Okay, or you can first choose a journal whose Simoco journal rank is still low. Yeah. Now, okay, and after that, if you have to succeed to publish in a low HCR, you can increase in the next time. Okay. If how to create the unique journal. The unique article will be completed by the title, abstract, methodology, result in discussion, and conclusion. All of those are clear. Okay. If the composition of the journal is correct, then next, how to make the journal worthy of reference. I mean, to achieve this is not an easy matter. There are around eight elements, and that must be present in your journal. So this is consideration if you will create the unique journal. One, accountable information. Okay. Number two is institutional publisher. Okay. Number three, or the third, management and editing substance. Okay. And number four, substance of writings. Okay. And number five, writing style. Okay. And you will make guidelines in your journal. Okay. And the sixth is neat writing. And seven, permanent journal are considered to have passed the duration if they have met several assessment criteria, including assessment of publishing schedules, publishing numbering, and peaks. As for other criteria such as the index of each volume and volume, etc. Okay, and the eighth is dissemination. Journal considered worthy of dissemination of they meet these three criteria, namely the number of unique customer visit, the completeness of article identity, and also the indexing internationally, and good reputation. Okay, I think like this, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Zali.
Thank you very much, Bapak Professor Sukamta, for the question. It is very good answer that you also talk about journal, not only article, but also journal. So I think the third question comes from Ibu Betty Kristinawati. Ibu Betty Kristinawati, would you like to speak up your question, or let me read the question? If you want to speak directly to the speaker, that is very possible, and we would like to have you speak actually.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the time. Please, I would like to say for both of the speaker, what the opinion of the speaker when the institution I work as provide the cost of publishing paper and give the incentive for our published journal in the Scopus. Okay, my institution required to cite institutional journal. Whatever, it will affect the quality, the site, the reference, because all of my institutional journal is still accredited by SINTA. And my target to publish is the Scopus journal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Betty Kristinawati. So the question is whether citation to not really high index journal. I mean, if we cite some paper or some work from not really high journals, will it affect our quality? So how or what type of citation actually makes the better journal? So maybe Prof. Arin or Prof. Sukamta, would you like to directly respond to that?
Okay, Prof. Arin or me first? Please, Prof. Arin.
Prof. Sukamta first.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question. It is good question, and yeah, I have same experience for this case. Okay. Yeah. What if the journal editor requires the author to sign the article in the journal's own? Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to be a wisdom person, wisdom people, or wisdom person. The statement of the code of ethics for scientific publication is a statement of the code of ethics for all parties involved in the process of publishing scientific journal, including managers. Yeah, you are manager of journal, editors, reviewers, partners, internal or external reviewer partners, authors. Yeah, I think this statement of the code of ethics for scientific publication refer to the regulation of the head of Lembaga Ilmu Pengetahuan Indonesia number 5 of 2014. Yeah, I think concerning the code of ethics for scientific application, which in a sense uphold 3 ethical values in publications, namely number 1, neutrality or impartiality. Okay, that is free from conflict of interest in the management of publication. Okay, and number 2 is justice. Okay, namely giving the right of authorship to those who are entitled as author. Okay, or authors, authors. Okay, and number 3 is honesty. Honesty, which is free from duplication, fabrication. Yeah, duplication, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism in publication. Okay, yeah, this is 3 ethical values in publication. Okay, this code of conduct guideline for scientific publication is translated and adopted by on Elsevier's publication ethic policy. So yeah, I think this ethical values is very common in international publication. Okay, so if yeah, like you explain to us, if citizens are forced, yeah, if citizens are forced, it will affect the quality and also the suitability. Yeah, not only quality, but also the suitability. The article, yeah, suitability of the article content with the reference. Okay, so yeah, so it's very, yeah, it's very it's not recommended. Yeah, if you are a editor or editor-in-chief, yeah, to require the author have to cite your article in your journal. Okay, please give all of authors free to choose the article. Yeah, I think this is yeah, the common, yeah, the common issues, yeah, and the common problem, but we have to commit, yeah, to keep how to be impartial, how to be justice, how to be honor. Okay, thank you, Mr. Yali.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Thank you, Prof. And what about Prof. Diah Mutiari? Do you have any comment on that? On referencing like certain journal, certain required journals?
Yeah. Thank you, Mas Dali. Is my voice clear, Mas? Okay. I'm trying to understand what is Pupeti trying to look for the answer. What is the suggestion of both speakers when the institution where I work as the provider of the cost of publishing papers regards to cite institutional journals? Oh yeah, Yeah, I understand. Prof. Kamta already respond to Bu Betty with a perspective from the ethics or publication ethics on citation. The citation is the I mean it's a very complex problems for journal itself because the many of uh, the university word ranking usually use the indicators of citation to measure the ranking of journal or the university. So I think we have the same problem that we need the high citation, how the efforts to increase the citation. Is that right, Bu Betty? The problem, Bu Betty?
I think so. I think that that is the what she means by that.
Yeah. So there are two common things that usually we follow to increase the citation of our journal. First, usually the reviewers will suggest the author to cite the journal, the article from the journal. I think this is the polite way how the reviewers suggest the writers, because this is not us, this is not the editor, or this is not the rector, for example. Even the rector of the university directly suggests to the lecturers or to the students to cite the institution journal. But through the reviewers, I think this is more acceptable. The way how we handling the citation to increase our citation score. The second way, usually we can do like a workshop for the public and to sounding to introduce our journal to the public more widely, so they know our journal, and we can also advise them to publish in our journal, and we tell them that we have a good journal and already in the SINTA accreditation. You can cite because this is the important research, for example, that has been published in this journal. So I think if the way is in a indirectly way, I think we still it is still acceptable, and it is more reasonable, more, I mean, in the in the in our ethical way, it is not also against the ethical conduct of the journal itself. That's my opinion, Mas Jali, to respond Bu Betty. Is Bu Betty still here, Bu Betty?
Yes, Prof. Thank you for the clear explanation. but I think not all of the journal in my institution is suitable with my paper. So I'm sometimes confused with the regular in my institution.
Yeah. If you have to do that, you can do by email, but not by website. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Or we are. By email or by WhatsApp. It is not recorded in the system, I think. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, everyone. I think now uh, we have finished our session. But before we end the session, I would like to remind you once again that we have certificate for you. So please fill out the attendance list. And actually, there is one more question here from Ibu Helga Johanna. She's from Department of International Relations, and I would like to raise questions. How do we deal? Oh yeah, this is very practical question, but it's very interesting. So how do we deal with the journals that take quite a long time to give further notification? Like usually when we submit to journal for publication, it requires like 6 months or maybe more than that. So how do we deal with that? So maybe this is the last question because we have to end the session. Please, Prof. Kamta or Prof. Mutiarin to answer the question.
Okay, Budia Mutiarin, please.
Yeah. The question from Bu Helga, right? Also happened to me until now, Bu Helga, that usually for the reputable journal, the selection are more competitive on the quality of the paper itself. So if we understand the nature of the journal, we will start to write the paper with the paper that within their scope. We have to really understand that our paper is in their scope, because sometimes we think that our paper is in line with their paper or under their scope of the journal, but the editor sometimes thinks that this is out of the scope. So that's the first barriers. And the second one, usually the reputable journal will choose the reputable reviewers also, because they have the blind reviewer processing. So they will choose the reputable reviewer. That's why it is take a long time to give response to the journal. But in my experience, if it is already 4 months in our dashboard without any response, so I will email to the journal that I withdraw my manuscript. Then I will move my article to the other journal, so it will not be processed by the journal. We also have to have our target time when we have to withdraw and when we have to continue. sometimes for the reputable journal, I ever have the experience that it takes 2 years. The revision is until 4 times, and it takes 2 years until published. So that's my opinion, Mas. Thank you.
Thank you very well, everyone. I think we have reached the end of the session. I thank you very much for especially both of the speakers, Bapak Profesor Dr. Insinyur Sukamta and also Ibu Profesor Diah Mutiarin. Everyone, let me share with you as a token of our appreciation to both speakers. We were going to share with you the certificate of appreciation to Bapak Profesor Dr. Insinyur Sukamta, Sarjana Teknik, Magister Teknik, Insinyur Profesional Madya, as speaker in the pre-conference workshop, making publishable papers from research work. And also, we are going to give the second token appreciation to Ibu Profesor Profesor Dr. Diah Mutiarin, Sarjana Ilmu Politik and Magister Sosial, as a speaker in the pre-conference workshop, making publishable papers from research work. So, ladies and gentlemen, we really are glad to have all of you with us in this evening. So, let me end the session by saying proverb. So, there is a very nice proverb in Indonesia. If an elephant dies, it will leave the ivory, and if a tiger dies, it will leave stripes. So if a human dies, they will leave names. So our research, the researcher, when we are gone, we will leave our our name is as the reference and also our work. Hope this will be benefit for everyone as Amal Syariah. So thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof. Kamta and Prof. Arin.
Ya.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Mas.